Welcome to Game of the Day, where I randomize a date and play a game that came out on that same day. Today we're starting with 1993 for the year and March 29th for the date. We didn't have too much trouble picking a game this time, as the only one that released was a Net Furutabi for the Sega CD. What I did have a little trouble with was getting it to run, as it was a Japanese only release, so it required certain configurations to work, but after about an hour tinkering with stuff, the game booted up. You're first met with an opening reminiscent of animes at the time before getting into the actual game that goes a bit into the game's story. Since there were no subtitles and I don't know any Japanese, from what I could gather, the plot mainly revolved around our main character Annette and her magical amulet that piqued the interest of a local kingdom who wants it for themselves, so she then goes on the run from them while trying to save the world from a greater evil. With that sorted out, I was then thrown into the gameplay, which is where everything starts to fall apart. I noticed that the hitboxes on enemies felt pixel perfect, which was unideal, seeing as determining depth in this format was extremely difficult, so I had to mainly rely on looking at enemy shadows to try and align myself to them before attacking. Once I got a hang of that though, I ran into the problem of once you move forward in the map, there was no going back, so if you knocked an enemy into a previous area, you would have to sit and wait for them to come back onto the screen, which took a couple of minutes and was honestly pretty annoying. Clearing out the first level, I was then met with the level's boss, which brings me to my next point of how random the difficulty felt. If only bosses were a bit more difficult than other enemies, I wouldn't have much of a problem, but there is usually some random type of enemy that turn out being way stronger than half the bosses in the game. A portion of that is attributed to the lack of frame, so certain enemies could get you stuck in hit loops, leading you to lose all your health without having a chance to escape. I'm not going into detail about every issue I had, but some others included levels being too short, spot priority would constantly glitch, bosses' movesets felt bland, and the list goes on. To end things on a good note though, I did like the cutscenes, and the special ability was broken up into 5 different levels depending on how long you charge it, so that was pretty cool. Outside of that, I wish I could find any redeeming qualities about this game, but I genuinely can't, so I'd have to give this a bad beat down out of 10. Make sure to follow and leave a comment which you would rate this game alongside other games you hope to see in the future on the series, and I'll see you guys in the next one.